You're listening to Puma Podcast.
We celebrate Save Sierra Madre Day under Proclamation number 213. And also, this is the day in which we commemorate the time when Typhoon Ondoy brought heavy rains and massive flooding that ravaged many areas in Metro Manila and Central Luzon.
I'm Bella Perez Rubio, Puma Podcast, and today
we will be talking about the Northern Sierra Madre Natural Park, which is the largest protected areas of the Philippines and one of its most diverse in terms of ecosystem and species diversity.
that's Tess Gatan Balbas. She's a community organizer and environment advocate. Tess was speaking last September 26, the official Save Sierra Madre Day for the Philippines. You've been hearing about the Sierra Madre since you were young, but the reality is that most Filipinos have no idea what it actually is, what it looks like, how big it is, its importance. You probably don't even realize when you're actually in it. People have called the Sierra Madre the backbone of Luzon, and for good reason. The Sierra Madre corridor goes from the Cagayan Valley in the north, the eastern part of central Luzon, all the way down to the Calabarzon in southern Tagalog. It spans across 10 provinces, and the mountain range actually encompasses nearly 20 protected areas and forests. If you're at the La Mesa Watershed Reservation or the Upper Marikina River Basin protected landscapes, you're already at the edge of the Sierra Madre. All in all, the Sierra Madre covers more than 1.5 million hectares. That is nearly 24 times the size of the whole of Metro Manila. The Northern Sierra Madre Natural Park, or the NSMP, on the eastern part of Isabela Province in Cagayan Valley alone, takes up nearly 360,000 hectares, nearly 6 times the area of the NCR. But it's not just about its expanse. The Sierra Madre is backbone also because it provides protection. It acts like a shield on the eastern side of Luzon, slowing the impact of typhoons coming from the Pacific Ocean.
Without the forest cover of the Northern Sierra Madre, people in Cagayan Valley would not be safe during dry season.
Rains will get past the mountain range, of course, but the winds will have been significantly weakened. And in any case, the Sierra Madre shield is complemented by its next action as a sponge.
Forests absorb superfluous rainwater, thereby preventing floods, and releases this water during dry periods, always providing Cagayan Valley with water.
And then when dry spells come, the Sierra Madre shifts modes again, but still as protector and giver of life.
And there would not be enough water for drinking and irrigation during dry periods. The humid forest also generates its own rain. On a hot summer afternoon, you see the build-up of clouds over the Sierra Madre from evaporation of water in the forest, leading to thunderstorms that are welcomed by farmers. The forest also provides non-timber forest products upon which the indigenous Agda communities depend on, such as rattan. They make baskets out of rattan for their livelihood. The IP communities also harvest honey from the forest and meat of wild animals such as this Philippine deer. The rivers and coastal ecosystems provide fish and crustaceans, and the forest provides traditional medicines.
Tess is also the Director of Operations at the Mabuaya Foundation, a Philippine crocodile conservation body. Here's her colleague, Merline van Weerd, the Foundation's Executive Director.
I'm a Dutch biologist. I've been working in the Northern Sierra Madre for more than 20 years with Mabuaya.
Merline says the Sierra Madre is so vast, its ecosystems, and therefore its flora and fauna, are quite diverse.
We'll start in the coastal area. Here we find marine waters, coral reefs, reef flats, seagrass beds, mangrove forest and beach forest. Of course, very important for fish and for corals, but we find here as well the saltwater crocodile, the largest crocodile in the world, found from India to Australia, including the Philippines. So it's not globally threatened, not endemic, but in the Philippines this species has become very, very rare. And the population in the northern Sierra Madre Natural Park is the last wild population in northern Philippines. It's therefore listed as critically endangered on the DAO list, the Department Administrative Order 2019-09 from DNR. And this is the list of threatened flora and fauna in the Philippines, which is linked to the Wildlife Act.
A number of endangered turtles, including green sea turtles and hawksbill sea turtles, can also be found in the park.
There are several pairs of Philippine eagles in the northern Sierra Madre Natural Park. Of course, this is the national bird of the Philippines and it's listed as critically endangered.
And then, of course, the reason the Mabuaya Foundation exists in the first place.
In freshwater, we also find the Philippine crocodile, the rarest crocodile in the world, critically endangered. And there are only 2 remaining wild populations, one in southwestern Mindanao and one in northeast Luzon. The northern Sierra Madre Natural Park is crucial to the survival of this species in the wild. They're found in San Mariano inside the park, but also in rivers outside the park. We've seen that this area is super important for lots of critically endangered and endangered species, one of the most very important protected areas in the world. So let's save the northern Sierra Madre Natural Park.
We'll take a short break. Then when we return, let's talk about that. Saving the Sierra Madre from continuing threats of illegal logging, road construction, land conversion, quarrying, and mining.
Typhoon Maggie, known in the Philippines as Super Typhoon Juan, is considered as one of the most intense ever recorded.
This is Lori Tan, former chairperson of the Forest Foundation Philippines.
On 18 October 2010, Super Typhoon Juan hit landfall in the coastal towns of Isabela. The waves in Macunacon were as big as houses and swamped the town plaza facing the Pacific Ocean. Toppled trees, tripped down power lines, triggered landslides, and whipped up storm surges. In the 3 coastal towns of Divilacan, Macunacon, and Palanan, as much as 90% of structures were reportedly in ruins. Luzon have provided with natural storm walls that many of the cities and towns of the Cagayan Valley are protected by typhoons in the western side of the Great Mountain Ranges, rivers, and the northern Sierra Madre Natural Park.
It's for this reason that Lori Tan and other advocates have opposed the ongoing construction of Isabela Road, which passes through the Sierra Madre.
This will certainly affect the roads, the flooding, soil erosion, and the landslides of the forest, the park, and the coastal zones. The forests are especially vulnerable to such lineal infrastructure because they include critical ecological species such as the Isabela oriole, Philippine eagle, Philippine crocodile, and the northern Sierra Madre forest monitor.
There's another threat to consider as well.
Without increased and urgent mitigation ambition in the coming years, leading to a sharp decline in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, global warming will surpass 1.5 Celsius in the following decades, leading to an irreversible loss of species in the most fragile ecosystems and crisis after crisis for the most vulnerable people and societies.
He's citing the findings of a study conducted by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in 2019.
How will the Philippines be affected by climate change? sea level rise is the issue. Out of 57 cities and 832 municipalities are situated along the coast. The Philippines has already confirmed about 3 times that of the global average. This country is expected to experience changes in strong cyclones, storm surge, floods, and heavy rains, especially in coastal cities and towns. For food and agriculture, El Nino periods will affect the country from drought, dry spells, and water supplies. Many city areas and roads rapidly sinking due to groundwater extraction.
And in Cagayan Valley,
this is the top producer of corn in the whole country and the second in rice production. We will expect damage to crops and induce heat stress to livestock. We are worried of the emergence of pest and animal disease. We will certainly affect people and their health. For the valley, the major concern and the major opportunities are clearly linked to corn, rice, agriculture, and food. The other issue is typhoons. The eastern towns, Maconacon, Palanan, Divilacan, San Mariano, and Dinapigue, will be heavily affected by sea levels, storm surges, and flooding.
the protection that Sierra Madre offers the area will become all the more critical as we continue to feel the adverse effects of global warming. But that protection is not assured.
For climate change, it is clear that the roads of Isabela are the seeds of tropical forest destruction. On the Pacific coast, this will impact mining projects and tourism. In wet tropical environments, the cut and fill operations associated with road construction can impede river and streams, increase forest flooding, and drastically increase landslides and soil erosion. Perhaps the most damaging aspect of paved highway is that they spawn the networks of secondary roads. And as those roads spread in the northern Sierra Madre Natural Park, the environmental toll grows. The government supports roads. They believe that they provide cost-effective means to promote economic development, access natural resources, and of course, voters. Local communities in remote areas often demand new roads to improve access to land, transportation, markets, and medical services. Unfortunately, this is an endless process. With climate change, it will be difficult for Cagayan farmers, traders, and suppliers to anticipate the frequency and length of rainy and dry seasons that govern production activities and high variable income. There is no choice. Farmers will find their own solutions. And at the same time, the forest of the NSMNP also needs to manage, anticipate, and react climate shifts that as wilderness, flora and fauna must maintain biodiversity and align its natural rhythms, and delivering this last great forest at its critical Philippine role and its unique planetary function. This park can make a difference too. Within this decade, the Cagayan Valley must take the appropriate solutions for this generation. Don't wait. By that time, there will be already 125 million Filipinos, and temperatures will have changed by 2030. It will probably get worse.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka News. Again, I'm Bella Perez Rubio. This episode was edited by Freddy Blanco. Our executive producer is Jill Caro, and our senior news editor is Veronica Uy. Don't forget to follow Teka Teka News on your favorite podcast app, or listen to us for free on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you like this episode, please take the time to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening.